So yesterday during his press conference, Coach McDermott talked about how he didn't think it was right that fans could be in some stadiums and not in others. Does he have a point? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to this breaking news edition of Believers Talk, where we bring you the late breaking Buffalo Bills news. In this episode, we are going to talk about the Buffalo Bills and their recent announcement to not allow fans in the stands for at least the start of the NFL season. Before we do that, guys, I want to remind everyone, my name is Joe. Thank you for watching this video. If you are new to this channel, guys, please be sure to hit that subscribe button for continual breaking Buffalo Bills news. As the season gets closer and closer, you also want to make sure you hit that notification bell so YouTube notifies you when we put out new content. If there is breaking news, you want to be notified. You want to hit that notification bell. YouTube will notify you when we put out new videos. Also, while you're here, hit that thumbs up button, like this video, and leave a comment. What do you think about the Buffalo Bills not allowing fans in the stands for the first two Buffalo Bills home games? That will include the Buffalo Bills game, the home opener against the New York, New Jersey Jets, and that will also include the Week 3 matchup against the Los Angeles Rams. So again, guys, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. We are going to talk about that breaking news. The announcement came today, and it's really not a surprise. I know Bills fans were hopeful, and Coach McDermott just got asked this question about fans in the stands yesterday, and we heard his response, and we're going to take a look at that more today. But at the same time, I know we were hopeful, but it's really not a surprise that the Buffalo Bills make this announcement, that throughout the month of September, there will be no fans allowed in the stands at what's now called Bills Stadium. Now, the good news with this announcement is it doesn't go on beyond September. Now, I was hoping that it would be kind of a little like the Jets statement, right? And it's hard to believe the Jets did something right, but really the New Jersey governor did it right, so we can't thank the Jets for that. However, the Jets said there will be no fans in the stands. There'll be no one watching at FedEx, no, whatever their stadium's called, I forget this time. But there'll be no fans in the stands until further notice. This way you don't have to get fans' expectations up. And then let's say between week 1 and week 3 there's some miracle that happens, right? Or something in New York that signifies, hey, we're ready to at least bring some fans back. At least then you could say week 2, hey, you know what? Let's bring fans back this game, right? If you make it an announcement, make it a generality and just say there will be no fans in the stands until further notice. Like that makes it's broad enough to make it simple that everyone understands. You just have to wait till you hear otherwise. But instead, now we're in this little bit of a cat and mouse game, right? Like, okay, we know the first 2 weeks. What about week 6, right? What about week 6? What about week 8? You know, what about that home? That's a big one, right? Week 6 is that big Thursday night game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Thursday night against the Chiefs. What about that game? Right? Are you going to allow fans in the stands for that prime time game? I mean, that's a huge game to have an empty stadium for. So obviously we have some hope moving forward, which is a good thing. However, not having fans in the stands is not what we want to hear. We want to hear something different. But with all sports, there have been no fans in the stands. We've seen that other sports have done things differently, right? We know that the NHL and NBA both in that bubble, right? And there's no fans in the stands. Now the NBA was able to do this cool thing where you have virtual fans in kind of like the bubble. I think that's neat. That's a neat fan experience. Do I like seeing it on TV? Not all the time, but at the same time, it's something different, trying something new during these weird times. Now we know baseball, they have those cardboard cutouts, right? We see those little cardboard cutouts behind home plate, whatever. That's neat. That's fine. That's fun as well. Again, trying different things. However, each league has come up with their own policy, and what Coach McDermott doesn't like is that there is no uniform policy in the NFL. Now, when asked about this yesterday, Coach McDermott was not happy, and we'll get to his exact quote in a second, But he was not happy because the NBA, the NHL, and Major League Baseball, they all came out with a policy that all teams must follow when it comes to fans in the stands. However, the NFL has not done that. The NFL is allowing each team to approach things differently. For example, we learned today the Buffalo Bills will not be allowing fans at home games for at least the first 2 home games, right? But then our week 2 opponent, the Miami Dolphins, division rival, is trying to allow 20% capacity in their stadium, about 13,000 fans allowed in to watch the Dolphins play, and he thinks that this could create a competitive disadvantage for teams not allowed to have fans in the stands. He said, when asked about this yesterday, and I quote, "We control what we can control." I think it's honestly ridiculous that there will be what appears to be a playing field that is like that, inconsistently across the league with the different away stadiums. We control what we can control. That's got to be our mindset, and that's how we attack it. And I hope that's how they attack it, right? Because like McDermott said, and this is true about sports, this is true in life. So life lesson, guys, you control what you can control. You shouldn't be stressing about things that you have no control over. Listen, this could create a competitive disadvantage for the Buffalo Bills. It could. But my thought process is simply this. If you are a player in the NFL, if you're making millions of dollars and you're playing for the right to be called a champion, and by the way, when you make it to the Super Bowl, you make a little extra on the side too. Let's not act like they're not getting paid to play well. If that's not enough motivation for you, what are the fans going to do? Right? When you are a competitor in any sport, you want to be the best. That's what makes it a competitor. That's what that competitor spirit in you. You want to be the best at what you do. Do fans change that? Now, fans might help with momentum. You might believe in that. Josh Allen spoke about that recently in that playoff loss against the Houston Texans. But still, when you are talking about an NFL team, an NFL player getting up for a game, he should be able to do that with or without fans in the stands. That's my take. And that's why I'm not sure I feel the same way about this as Coach McDermott does, although it does upset me that there is not a uniform policy in the NFL, because if other sports can have a uniform policy, why can't the NFL get together and say, hey, here's the deal? And I can tell you why. Because if you would have asked Kim and Terry Pegula if they could have fans in the stands, absolutely they would. If you could ask Mark Davis of the Las Vegas Raiders, who, by the way, has come out and said already that there will be no fans at any home games for the Raiders this season, and he also said that if there will be no fans in the stands, he will not be attending either. I think that's a little premature, but at the same time, I understand his sentiment. There have been spikes in Las Vegas in particular. Las Vegas was supposed to be a hub for the NHL, but right before the NHL got ready to meet there was a spike in the coronavirus there. And so the NHL decided to move it up to Canada, where the spikes weren't as frequent, at least, and we see it doing well there. But we also see NBA doing great here in Florida, which was supposed to be a hot spot as well. So obviously things are different depending on where you go, but things are different depending who you ask in the NFL. See, I think there should be a uniform policy, just for the fact that there should be a uniform policy. I don't think that fans give you a competitive advantage or disadvantage. I really don't. But that's my personal opinion. Let me know in the comment section if you agree or disagree with that. But at the same time, you're talking about 32 teams. You need to have a uniform policy. It will create less distraction down the line. However, again, as owners, as a brand, they want to make as much money as possible. And you might believe that they're worried about our safety, but I will tell you this, and I say the same thing about politics, I'll say the same thing about big corporations. When it comes to making a big dollar, when it comes to making some big bucks, they don't care about my safety. And I understand that. I have to go into it realizing that they don't care about me, and that's what I need to expect. That's what I need to realize. Me as an individual, maybe us as a big fan base, they care a little bit more, right? They do care about our safety. But again, who do they care about more, player safety or fan safety? I'm going to side with player safety, because player safety equals more dollars than fan safety, right? Although I'm sure if you lose one on either fan or player, that there would be a hellstorm to pay for it. But still, there should be a uniform policy throughout the NFL. But again, that's just not the way it is right now. Maybe the NFL will talk about that later, but the season is not too far away, not too much time left to make that decision. And again, since the season's not too far away, guys, remember to hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell as we continue to keep you up to date on breaking Buffalo Bills news. Leave a comment. What do you think about the idea of having no fans in the stands, and how badly do you hope that by October the Bills will be allowed to have Bills Mafia back on their side? Again, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.